Hello, folks. It's now 4 in the morning and I can't sleep. So I thought I'd get the next chapter of a bit of my life story. I haven't gone into every part of it in depth, but in 1994, due to me behaviour, being on the methadone, smoking cannabis, um, on medication at that time of methadone, diazepam. I ended up homeless, started selling the big issue. At this time, you would buy it for 30 pence, sell it for 80, but everyone would give you the pound. Some people would walk past and just give you the pound and not take it off you. But at this time as well, I used to sleep at the back of Lewis's doorway or at the front. I would have a rucksack, my sleeping bag inside of it, and I'd have a carrier bag inside of it with dirty clothes in, and another carrier bag inside of it with clean clothes in. Because you do get people on the streets who are not homeless, and you don't see them with no bags, nothing, selling a big issue, getting money. But you can't criticise them. They're not stealing. Crime was finished for me. But before I started selling the big issue, I went into a hostel called Mild May House, Blackburn Place. Some lad done something wrong to me. I volleyed his room door in, took it off the hinges, completely off it, and he wasn't in there. I got evicted, so I ended up on the streets. Within a couple of weeks, I had my rucksack, my sleeping bag, my survival bag, my radio, all the little bits, what you need, because when you're sleeping in a doorway at night, it's nice to have, even though it's only a £10 radio with batteries in, music. You would get charities coming round early in the morning, 7. They'd know where the homeless would sleep, giving you coffee, tea, whatever you wanted. I used to use a place called the Whitechapel Centre often. I would go there for my dinner and to get a shower and to wash clothes. And as I said, I kept dirty clothes in one carrier bag in my rucksack and clean in another. And I won't lie, I'll tell you how it is. If I put clean clothes on and I'm selling a big issue, people will not buy it. They think he doesn't look homeless. But because you're homeless doesn't mean you have to be dirty, not get washed. Hence, the Whitechapel Centre shower, do your washing. But when I was selling a big issue, I would have a pair of jeans on, a t-shirt and a coat. The coat wouldn't be clean, the jeans wouldn't be clean, but my underwear was clean, my body was clean. Because I'm not going to wear Sunday best and you'll sell a big issue. The public were very generous, and that's one thing I've got to say about the Liverpool public. Every half hour you get someone coming up, rather than buy the big issue, they'd pass you a pasty and a cup of coffee or tea. They'd come up to you usually and say, would you like something to eat, what would you like? you get the same ones buying a big issue off you every week. Obviously, not just always, not exactly everyone the same week, but you would have what you call regulars. And sometimes you get generous people who'd throw you a fiver, a tenner. I've been outside the Empire and being given 50 quid. And I found it, I'd sleep, if I slept in Lewis's doorway, I'd go to the back of McDonald's and their cardboard had threw out when the day was brand new. I was 6 foot in a doorway, 4 layers of cardboard, that was the mattress. I would get in my sleeping bag, I would put my survival bag over it, I would take my jeans off and sleep in my shorts, but I'd have my trainees on in case someone gave me aggression in the night and I could jump up and defend myself. Now what we used to do as big issue vendors is sleep in numbers for security. So if someone wants to give us abuse, if there's 3 or 4 of us sleeping together, he's got to fight 3 or 4 of us. At this time, I knew Joe Egg, and Joe won't mind me mentioning his name because he knows everyone in town and they know what he's about. But you know, people on Friday and a Saturday night, you would make, I'm not going to tell you how much, but you could make a few quid. People would look at you and see the ones, if you're genuinely homeless, they know. And you would often get a group of 2 lads walking past giving you abuse, and you may get 4 lads behind them. They'd hear what the 2 lads were saying to you. They'd go over, pull them up and give them a good hiding and come over to you then and give you money. Because some of the public, just like on YouTube, are haters of the homeless. They don't realise that the homeless people, a lot of them have been in care, sexually abused, being brought up by a bad parent or parents. In my case it was parents. My mother had done her best, but obviously my drug using caused problems at home. But one thing I never done is steal off my mother. Never in a month of Sundays. I have my morals and my respect for my mum. And my mum's passed away now. And I can live with a good conscience and a good heart, knowing that I never stole off my mum. Christmas was a bit of a sad time. I've been to Whitechapel Centre Christmas Day. But being homeless, I would often go up to my mum's and get a bath. She may wash clothes. And if I'm being straightly honest with you, I was homeless because really I chose to be homeless. I could have went back to my mum's, but you know, I just didn't want to put it on my mum, you know, and it wasn't fair, and she would moan, but for obvious reasons. I used to see a lot of people I know from my area or from parts of Liverpool I know, and they'd often pull you a few quid out. The money used to go on McDonald's, because lots of coffee. When you're selling a big issue, you need a cup of coffee every half hour, constantly. I used to sell it outside Waterstones. It was further up Bow Street then. Now it's moved down. But the staff would even make me coffee. But I was a very cunning man to get the big issues in every Monday. Saturday morning, there may be only 300 left. And it opens at 9 o'clock. You get people come in and go, want one for 30p. They'd run out and sell that. And they'd get £1 on it. Run back by 3. But I'd go in at 9 and they'd say there's only 300 left. I always had the money. I'd go and give us the 300. So on the Saturday, I was the only big issue vendor selling the issues. And they'd sell quick. And I knew if I was left with any at the end of the day, I could sell them to other big issue vendors. But you did put up with abuse. Some people walk past you as though you're just dirt on the shoe and you're somebody's son. But a lot of the public were genuinely lovely, nice, caring people. Same ones in the dinner hour every day, a couple of times a week. They'd stop by and I'd have a chat with you for half an hour. Now that interaction was good because they were not hating on you. They were supporting you, having a good chat, telling you what they done as a job. And sometimes, they'd give you a couple of quid, but that's not what it was all about. It wasn't about money. It was about survival. You also got people who were not big issue vendors who would come round trying to rob big issue vendors. This never happened to me. But I'm going to be straight and honest. I used to have a lot of pensioners who get nitrazepam, samazepam and diazepam, known as benzodiazepines. I used to buy them off them and I'd keep a few for myself and I'd sell them on. I was a wheeler and dealer in benzodiazepines, and to cope at night I'd have sleeping tablets and a couple of Valium. And when people say to me today, you look stoned, the rest of it in the drawer, I've just opened that. There is a strip of diazepam. I've got another 3 strips in the drawer. But the winters were very, very cold. Now, sometimes on a Sunday, if Everton were playing away, I'd sell it outside Lime Street Station, the side door, and the Everton fans there, and I'd show them my tattoo. And they would buy the issue but give you a couple of quid. But now, to be honest, I'm older, I'm an Everton and a Liverpool fan. If the trophy's coming back to Merseyside, so be it. Doesn't matter what team brings it, it's coming back to our city. But you're gonna be shocked when I tell you this. One evening, I was outside Lime Street Station selling the big issue, and a nice looking girl gave me a couple of quid, went in the station to get a train, come back out and said to me she'd missed the London train, there was no more that night, where can I get a drink? I took her to an off licence and she lingered round, sat by while I was selling Big Issues drinking, and she was a nice looking girl. She said, I'm going to have to stay with you tonight if you don't mind. So I get the cardboard lays it down in the doorway at the back, and sleeping bag opens it and gets a blanket out. And to my delight, I ended up sleeping with this girl, believe it or not. And I thought, oh, she was drunk, and then it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was just about to go to McDonald's to get us a coffee round the corner. We was at the back of Lewis's. McDonald's was just in the front of Lewis's in Liverpool. But a bass was coming down, and I ran. I thought, so someone phoned them and said, we're having sex in the doorway. And they stopped me and said, what's going on? Why are you running? So I told them, I said, well, look, we've just been having sex in the doorway. Now, there was a female officer with them, and I pointed the doorway out. She went up to the doorway, come back, and said to the other police officers who were males, well, pigs, not police officers, but whatever. He's telling the truth. So they never done nothing, because obviously we were having sex under a sleeping bag behind Lewis's where no one could see us. But then I went and got the coffees and went back round. And then for the next half hour, all busy vans and police cars were driving down that way and shining the lights into the doorway. Must have blew it over his radio. Mosley's in the back of the doorway there having sex with a girl. You know, and it wasn't the first time I've slept with a girl from a member of the public. You know, but it was at the time we were all right, you know, living on the streets. How can I be polite about it? Let's just say getting your end away. But the next day, I seen her to where the train station. She was off on a train. Then I was selling the Big Issue, and by Boots, where the stairs are at the top of there, and there was a busy used to always come round by the name of Graham, and he pulled me up and he said, I heard about you last night. So what's happened, I'm assuming, when the night busies are going off and doing a handover with the daytime police, they've said, oh, Mosley last night in the back of Lewis's, how can I put it, having intercourse with a female. But you know, these are just little experiences I've got to tell you. In the winter, it was really, really cold. So that's why I had cardboard under me, because that'll keep you warm. 6 foot in the doorway. I used to use my rucksack as the pillar, but tie the strap around my wrist. My money would be in my sock or under the sole of my trainee. I lived on McDonald's, cafes, burger stores you see in the middle of the town centre, like vans, you know, what they pull in on the car. And the winters were very nasty, and that's how I ended up getting COPD and the musculoskeletal disease, which is osteo and rheumatoid arthritis. But as I got older, it's got worse. But some days I could sell 400 bigger shoes. Mainly, you're always done busy on a Saturday of an evening, Thursday, Friday nights and Saturday. And a good one was the end of the month when all the civil servants got paid. It happened once a month, but I've took 400 quid in an evening. But that only happens once a month when everyone gets paid and they're coming out the clubs, and you get the police who'd some would leave you if they knew you were genuinely homeless, but you get some of the bastards who would take you in their van, take you up to somewhere like Calderstones, take your money off you and kick you out the van. But me would always have my notes under my trainees, under the inner soul of being arrested, and my shoes are being outside the cell in the Bridewell with a couple of 100 quid in. And believe you me, if you've ever been homeless, it's not nice. But in the summer, it's not a problem. But in the winter, when you wake up and you have to get out that sleeping bag and put your jeans on, the first thing you do is go into McDonald's, and you'd probably have bigger shoes from the day before, or if you didn't, go to the office and get some. I got to know a lot of shoplifters, people who come into town grafting. Christmas, the public were very good. Some of them would buy you clothes. The regulars you had, you bought the issue off you every week. Or some people would give you £20 every time they seen you. But cup of coffee, then it was only about 40p. But a cup of coffee every half hour. And food, it was expensive. And some nights in the winter you didn't want to stay on the streets. You'd pay to stay in a hotel, or you could pay to stay in the YMCA. And I've slept in the old bombed out church on Hope Street. That church, in there, 4 of us used to stay there. We had candles in there, we had a little compartment made, and you were out the way, no one knew where you was, and it was safe. But being honest, it is a dangerous place to be in that city on a Friday and a Saturday night selling the issue on the streets. You had to rely on the other members of the public. Someone give you abuse 9 times out of 10 to get a good iron from other members of the public, and then they come over and give you money, as I said. I used to stay also in the Sisters of Mercy, but you'd have to be in there at 6 o'clock in the evening, and when you went in, you'd have to go upstairs and say prayers for half an hour. Come down, they'd feed you, and you'd go to bed about 10 o'clock, and you were out at 8 o'clock in the morning after your breakfast. And I remember once going into Lewis's, and he said, "You're bored?" And then I argued with him, and he agreed I wasn't bored and let me go in.